In news coming out of the top court of the country, one name is ringing out the loudest in 2023 so far, and that's the name of Justice BV Nagarathna. So why is this judge making headlines? Why is she relevant? Is she someone you may hear more of in the days to come? Well, let's try to answer some of these questions and get you a closer look at this Supreme Court judge. Justice BV Nagarathna is the daughter of former Chief Justice of India, Justice E.S. Venkataramaiah. The reason why you may be hearing much more of her is that she's likely to become India's first ever female Chief Justice of India in February of 2027. Now, as per seniority, she's fifth in line after the current CJI, Justice Chandrachud. So let's take a look at her journey so far to the Supreme Court. She began practice as a lawyer in 1987 in Karnataka. After nearly 2 decades of practice, she was appointed as an additional judge in the Karnataka High Court in 2008. She was then elevated as a judge of the Supreme Court recently in August of 2021. Her judgments, while as a High Court judge, often made headlines. And speaking of headlines, in 2012, she was ironically in the news for slamming sensationalism in the media under the guise of breaking news. She had proposed, in fact, regulation of the media. In 2019, in another famous judgment, she held that temples are not commercial entities and therefore are not liable to pay gratuity under the Payment of Gratuity Act. In 2021, she took the Karnataka government to task and nudged it to resume midday meals in schools and declared midday meals to be a fundamental right. But why is she in the news lately? Well, the short answer is independent, incisive and thought-provoking judgments on two polarizing issues: demonetization and hate speech by elected leaders. Well, to begin with, Supreme Court's 5-judge bench delivered a judgment on the vexed issue of public functionaries and elected leaders indulging in hate speech and incendiary remarks. Now, while she agreed with the majority view that no additional restrictions can be placed on public leaders, she did add important caveats in her ruling. She noted how hate speech was a cause of concern and how it strikes at the very heart of a multicultural society like India. She held that hate speech strikes at the very foundation of fraternity, equality and harmony. She also cautioned public figures that given their vast influence on masses, they have a duty to be restrained and measured in their comments. She also suggested that political parties need to rein in errant leaders. But for many, her pièce de résistance was her judgment holding demonetization to be unlawful when she was in a 4:1 minority in a bench of 5 judges. While 4 out of 5 judges upheld the 2016 demonetization exercise, Justice BV Nagarathna was far from convinced with the centre's position. She noted how despite the lack of a dedicated law or an ordinance, centre had proceeded with demonetization without legal backing. She also noted on how the central bank simply did not apply its mind. She observed that demonetization decision was taken in 24 hours by the centre, not allowing the RBI enough time to study the socio-economic impact. She also questioned if the stated objectives of demonetizations were even achieved. Now, legal luminaries are already comparing her to renowned judges from the past who won plaudits for testing legality of the actions of the government of the day. So in short, you're likely to hear much more about her and from her in the days to come.